by the Inkling Boy.
Okay, I'm not familiar with this Yellow Shy Guy meme. Can you catch me up on what's going on with that?
There's a meme?
I don't know. It just, you said it was your favorite character from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and the only reason I can think of is that it would be a meme. Like, I don't see anything that stands out to me about the Yellow Shy Guy. And to be clear, I am not talking about the player on Fruittella. I'm talking about the Mario character.
I like the yellow on him.
You heard it here first, folks. Quote, I like the yellow one. I do know that they're just a fantastic bucket player. Now, looking at this team, it looks as though Fruittella, and they're always a team that's known for just dumping out a bunch of paint, right? You have Punchy, who's just a great shooter player. You've got Shy Guy, who's able to just use that bucket to perfection. Is one of the better bucket players that I'm aware of, at least. And, I mean, Crowny can just be so good on that head it. Do you think that that's a winning comp on zones? And for a team that maybe goes more Slayer and less support paint, how do you counter that in this mode?
Well, it's Slayer and more paint. You slay and go aggressive, just shove him in your face, kill them. And that's very easy for me to say, right? But when I look at what 6 a.m. can offer to the table here, I'm already seeing a few weapons that I would like to see them pull out. I mean, just obviously taking that face value, looking at Sendou pages, you see a decab on one side. Robo Ramen Zones, as far as I know, is a good spot for bubblers. So just go and shove one of those at zone and then go swinging away with that decab. Perfect stuff there. So what you do there is you have what that does for you, not only you but for your team, is that you have an opportunity to just like jump back in, keep that aggression going. If the other team's focusing on paint, well, congratulations, shut down everybody else. We're gonna be able to just rush in. We saw a little bit of that in that previous set against, or sorry, not the previous, the first set actually against Hypernova and Moonlight. So I want to see some of it show up here. Obviously, different comps, but we should see more of it.
Nino, what are your thoughts about Moray Towers Towerless coming back for Game 2 there with our blue skies and our clouds and everything going on?
I like the zone. It's it's right there, right by where the cloud is. So if you're able to get the flank route down by that left cloud, you might be able to sneak in a player or two, but you do really need to watch out for the lightning bolt right next to the zone. If you don't watch out for that lightning bolt right next to the zone, then you have had it. That flank route is very high risk, high reward there. So I'd ask for teams to look out for that. But if you want to try that second flank route, especially around Cumulonimbus, then that is absolutely awful. Don't try it. It's just way too long.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Cumulonimbus meta either. I think that, ever since they added in Lightning Bolt special to this game, it's just never been the same. Joking aside, that is Urchin again for Game 2. Unfortunately, we don't have a graphic for Urchin, but just so that y'all know what's coming up. Game 1, though, is Robo Ramen, and I think that this is going to favor a more aggressive team, kind of like we saw in the earlier set. I think 6 a.m., with having that decav player, could feast here, especially because some parts of mid are so small, Nito, that bubble is just taking up so much space, doing so much work.
Right, yeah. And the thing about that bubble is that you're not going to see it on zone, on Urchin. You're just not going to. It's going to be past zones. I saw it in that first match. I think the first match we actually commentated, we saw how valuable that spot ahead of right just in front of the zone is. It's so valuable that if you can probably lock out from there. It's almost looking like a second storage and shipyard without the fight club, which is kind of sad. But I think that spot is very valuable for them. You want to maximize the amount of map control you have. That bubble is certainly going to help because now you have more capital. You can send in more players, keep in that map control. That being said, that bubble has to stay up, and you're playing against a team that is also going to be playing hyper aggressive, I imagine. So let's go ahead and see what happens in that match. But we're going to be waiting for Ramen Zones Game 1. I am currently hearing a lot of things going on. Wandering outside, see this cat seems to be barking at me, which is impressive because I didn't know that cats can bark. But currently hearing that both of these teams are still figuring things out in the background there. So see what happens.
Speaking of seeing what happens, it looks like Moonlight did clutch out a win over Healthy Diet Food Groups in that game 5. So they'll be kind of equalizing their record at 1-1. Now, never say never regarding Top Cut, right? But it looks as though Healthy Diet Food Groups is going to be playing spoiler for the rest of the day, having their record now be at 0-2. But man, what a fight to put up against Moonlight heading to a game 5 there. As we do have some time to yap, and as I know that you are a Dallas lover, tell me
oh my God.
about Micah. Are you mourning? What's going on in your head right now?
So for people now I know it's competitive Splatoon, there's a lot of people that don't quite know professional sports. Just know that what we're about to talk about is one of the worst things I've ever seen within the last 6 months. I would say the year, but there is something else that takes that top spot. And it's also coming from Dallas. But
yes.
I don't know. It's just if you want to talk about that trade, that would involve me getting into my sports broadcasting side, and that would mean having to be professional, which I really don't want to do because I strongly dislike the Green Bay Packers, which are words I'm going to use just so that IPL doesn't get shut down yet. But I think that this trade is going to be pretty awful. They're trying to frame, like Jerry Jones is trying to frame this as the Herschel Walker trade. Again, I'm sorry about chat. I'm sorry if you don't know what I'm talking about, but Jerry Jones is trying to frame this as the Herschel Walker trade. He got 2 first-round picks. Kenny Clark, who is about retiring age. I know it's only 29, but that's not much in the NFL. So I don't know what the point of any of this was, what the point of dragging it out was if you were just going to ship him off to another team. So I'm hoping that both of these teams are getting ready soon so I could stop talking about this.
Well, what I was curious about, Nito, is what would you say would be the Splatoon competitive equivalent of what happened?
Oh, good God. Here, let's see. I want to say there's a lot of teams here that aren't quite young, but I'd say, if anything, I would look at maybe ZipCat trading one of their players for like 2 players coming out of like, I don't know, from the Ink Up, and then maybe a bag of chips that played last time in like SOS number 100. So either way, game starting. Thankfully, I can move out from the spot topic.
You've got some lovely SendouQ finals to distract you from all the horrors of the NFL. As we get going, we do see Chocomento on that decap, which is kind of what we predicted. However, less paint than we thought coming out from Fruittella with the blaster, who does instantly go down. Both teams could be going for a fast pace here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at 6 a.m. 6 a.m. I mean, that is a very aggressive spot to maintain with that splash. I almost wanted to see what they could do with it, but that flank was going to be dangerous, especially going up that wall. So, of course, you don't want to take it too well. But though you don't need a flank when you have that slosher there taking 2 picks, and that's a delayed triple there. Can it be delayed wipe? Can we see that yet? No, we do not. But 6 a.m. Look at this bubble. Look at these strikes coming out. Look at these specials coming out. There is so much capital you're able to get in like the span of mere seconds. That is what I wanted to see from 6 a.m. It's working out very well for them. Except for that one time we did get a S-Blast, able to pick that up very easily. But Fruittella might be able to retake this zone, but not quite yet.
Yeah, a good start here for sure as we see the blaster against the slosher. The slosher, I think that's Fantar, is going to get the pick. Super jumping back, but 2 of their teammates have gone down. Has to scramble now, is going to get picked. And oh my gosh, that maybe wasn't worth it to be out of position for that long, because now we have Fruittella roaring in here, looking to make a lead flip here. Now, you've got the Booyah Bomb. You get 2 picks immediately up front, putting 6 a.m. on the back foot again. What's your key, Nito, to a good lockout on Robo Ramen?
Just stay where you are, sit down, and make sure you can hold everything down. That being said, right there, you did have to back up. That was going to be a tremendous charge forward for 6 a.m. So not much you can do there, but Fruittella just needs to hold those positions. You had all the drops locked down, and now they have you locked down. That's a wipeout for 6 a.m. Fruittella. Now on the back foot yet again, but you just had to maintain those positions again. Unfortunately, there you had to back up. That was a massive push from 6 a.m. So good on them for at least trying to save what they can, but 6 a.m. currently holding the best out of him here, especially with this slosher up front. This slosher is huge for them.
Yeah, I love the combo of the slosher and the crab chipping, and especially getting another tasty pick right up there. Is Chocomento, look at this play, just like looking for whoever's going to drop first and waiting to pounce like a leopard here. Just kind of waiting along the back. Now, They're giving up a little bit of paint and a little bit of space here just to let them burn these specials so that they don't go on the zone. But we see Punchy's Crab getting up pretty far. Chocamente is going to go down in the backfield here. And now Bucket v Bucket along the right-hand side is going to result in a trade. But if you're Fruittella, you need a little bit more than that, as Punchy will go down. And it looks like that is going to be a Game 1 victory for 6 a.m. Holy smokes, Fruittella has not yet dropped a set today. I don't believe they've even dropped a game, Nito. That was their first loss today.
The only 2-0 team to drop a game was Voie Lactée, and that is the top team that we're currently looking at. So Fruittella might be looking to shake things up in the group stage. They already are with this set. I mean, that was tremendous stuff there, especially with the retake at the middle of the set there. So great stuff for them. For when it came to 6 a.m., it looks like they were trying to make the right moves, but maybe just at the wrong time there, especially with what they were trying to do in that last second. Right place there. I like the positioning there, especially where you had the other players, but just the wrong time because Fruittella had everything locked down.
Yeah, most definitely. And I especially liked. Oh no, I feel you. I especially liked how bloody both of these games were. Where we. Some of these other sets we've seen, patient kind of plays matriculating, which is good to watch in its own right. But this game, we just saw back and forth haymakers, triple on one side, triple on another side on the retake. It's going to be interesting to see how these two teams continue to try to outpace each other, or maybe if one team or the other is going to try and slow things down. And for Urchin, this is Fruitella's pick, so I'm curious to see. They've clearly got a plan for this one since it's a little bit of an out of left field pick for zones. I don't know. Down 1-0, what would you do, Nito, here? What would your game plan be for Urchin with their combo?
Well, obviously, you want to hold things down a little better. That being said, that's a really vague thing to say, especially when you're playing against a team like 6 a.m., a team that does retakes so well here. You want to make sure you're holding things down. I want to see more I want to see a comp more oriented towards map control. That's going to be pretty good here. I like the picks you make here. You obviously have the crab that we saw from the previous game. Or actually, I believe we saw from the previous game. We do have an S-Blast, so you do at least have some zone control. And you have the beacons from the dualies. That is a great pick for Fruittella. See if you can get people and have people stay there with those beacons.
Yeah, look at this. Both sides opting for the Dapples here. I really like that pick. This Crownie's going to be setting up some beacons along the side, but several members of Fruittella going down. Now it's just Crownie. A long wipe on Fruittella. 6 a.m. is going to be taking position here, but somebody jumped to the beacon. Oh my goodness, look at this crab from Punchy, who beaconed up along this left-hand side, is now trying to cause havoc in on 6 a.m. along the side. It seems like neither of these teams, Nito, are afraid to just go at lightning speed.
Oh, that's what you're going to see a lot from team play at this level of Splatoon. And we have 3 players going down. Fruittella, my goodness, going out swinging here. You also covered the beacons there. Excellent job there covering those 2. You already have 2 players down after, seconds after a wipe. That is tremendous for Fruittella. 6 a.m., no response yet, but remember, this is a team that's been scary with the retakes, and now they have 2 players down. Now I want to see what they do from here, but when you lose a player like that, it kind of just seems right now they might be throwing things at the wall and hoping they stick, but none of them have enough adhesive to stick around for much long, but they do have at least some people backing up here. How much is it going to help? We're not sure, because there's still players going down for 6 a.m.
Yeah, the Dapple's trying to work something up front against Crownie here. They're kind of letting Crownie go for now, but now they're trying to push that right-hand side, funneling them over that way. But now, oh my gosh, look how many members of Fruittella are stuck in the middle of this zone here. Oh, wipeout for 6 a.m. They got them all clustered up together, stopping them at 20. Now they've got to get a lockout of their own online, Nito. It's just going to be a matter of who misses their haymaker is going to win this game.
Oh my goodness, this is a title fight between 2 heavyweights here. If you know anything about boxing, we're getting to preview Canelo vs. Crawford already, but that being said, both of these teams still, this is what I meant with this, but when this part was going to be so important. I mean, 6 a.m. does eventually fit the zone here, but Fruittella has the numbers advantage here. Now you have 3 players down. You have the dualies all the way up at their enemy, up in enemy territory. That's why this part of the map is so important on Urchin Underpass. It's great to see that 6 a.m. is holding it down very well. I mean, you have 3-4 weapons that can just move around at speed, just keep things together. You have players like that crab player that can just help out opponents or help out teammates whenever needed. This is great for 6 a.m. Seem to be holding it out pretty well. See how long they hold it.
Yeah, it seems like the crab is the go button for both of these teams in many ways, as we see crab strikes and booyah all coming out from Fruittella to flip that zone and get a triple, 3 points shy of giving up that lead. Now they've got to go beacon hunting as they swarm back through mid. Fantar is going to be trying to hold them off, soloing actually this hill, while another jump comes in behind and trades out. That's going to be a good start for 6 a.m. to try and take this back as Choco Minto gets one pick. The strikes will flip the zone back. Is not going to get another here as the jumps will come into Crowny. 6 a.m. has control for now, but they go 3 down, another wipeout. Nito, I can't remember how the amount of times that I've seen wipeout appear across the top of the screen in one set. This is crazy.
You'd think we're watching a game show about obstacle courses with how many times we see wipeout appear on the screen. But we're not. We're watching a competitive Splatoon match, and it's still 20. It's like, it doesn't matter how many wipes we have. And I can't say it's about like what teams do after the wipe, because both of these teams are going to get a wipe within the minutes. So why bother seeing what happens afterwards? Because it's going to flip one way or another. It might flip right now at least, because we're seeing a few players going down for both sides here. Probably trying to go for a pick here. That's a delayed triple, I believe, for 6 a.m. who now has a few more players to work for. That's a few more. 6 a.m. actually getting the pick here. And now this is another bloodbath we're seeing in the middle of the zone, right in the middle of the map here.
And shout out to Justin, who's doing a great job on the spec cam. It seems like every time we swap to a new perspective, that person dies, and then we swap, and that person gets picked, and we swap again, and it's just crazy what's going on in this match here. Now, 6 a.m. does have control of mid and the zone. A trade off to the side here. We're going to see Fantar the bucket against Crowny, pinched otherwise by the rushing Blaster and Shy Guy. Another member of 6 a.m. is going to go down. They keep falling, giving this crucial advantage back to Fruittella. They don't have a lot of penalty points to go down, but oh my gosh, Choco Minto's going to get 2 before getting picked themselves. Now Crowny getting picked by the other set of dualies. Strikes coming in to give 6 a.m. the zone with only 20 seconds to go.
I mean, are we even playing Splat Zones anymore, or are we still playing Team Deathmatch? I'm not really sure. One of these teams went 3 down. I don't know what's going on. Fruittella just needs to flip the zone. That's all I know right now. And they need to hold on enough to flip the lead here. Otherwise, 6 a.m. is going to win this match. With how much both of these teams are still trading away picks, it's not clear what's going to happen until you see that game banner flooding your screen there. 6 a.m. wins game 2.
Oh my gosh, can't be hitting the snooze button anymore, Fruittella. It's 6 a.m. That alarm is going off, and you are down 0-2 in this set. 6 a.m., if they're able to complete this set victory, will cause both teams to be 2-1. Both teams will be solidly in the race to try and contest Voie Lactée in this group. And it's going to all come down to Hagglefish Market next. Do you think 6 a.m. gets the sweep here, Nito, or does Fruittella have some tricks up their sleeve?
Oh, man. The one trick I'm seeing is wipe the other team and find out. And that's not their only strategy. I understand that. But it's an attitude I'm seeing for both of these teams that, like, if I notice the slosher flanking from one team and trying to get the other, if I see, like, the dualies trying to go for an off-angle attack, it doesn't matter to either of those teams. It's like, all right, it doesn't matter. We still have 4. We're going to rush in, cap zone, and then we'll figure it out from there. All we need to do is keep disrupting you over and over again, finding ways to do it, even if it's not just taking those picks. I like that from both of these teams. It keeps the aggression going from both sides. And Fruittella and 6 a.m. are doing it so well that this is still very close. If anything, the game 2 taught you how close this could be. Hagglefish Market is going to be very similar, I believe, just because that map is going to allow for this to happen. But either way, let's just see what these teams come out with.
Oh, I'm stoked. It looks like same things coming out here. Now, these comps, I think, tend to favor the decav a little bit, just because I really like how well the decav can control the streets on either side of zone. Nito, do you think that's going to make the difference here? Are we going to see the bloodbath that we just saw in Urchin again?
Already you are, because 2 people went down. So there's your answer, by the way. I mean, I don't even have to answer it for you. But the good news about the decav is that you're right. That decav now has more power to them, more just intimidation to them. I mean, you pair that up with the crab. That decav is already pretty good at 1v1. So you pair it up with the crab. It's an excellent thing to bring out if you're 6 a.m. But so far, it's not working out too well for them. I mean, you still have this Slosher that you need to look out for. It'd be amazing if 6 a.m. gets out of this alive. You do not. What an excellent swap from the Spec Can, because I almost thought 6 a.m. went out of that alive. And that Slosher's still going until they're shut down by the pencil. But my goodness, there's the bloodbath we were looking for. There's the crab coming out from Fruittella. There's a good positioning from the crab here. I wonder who else we might be able to see from Fruittella that's on that zone. But unfortunately, it's not enough to be able to get that ping. You still have a lot of people on that zone. But 6 a.m. has done enough damage. You're going to keep moving forward.
I think what's so fun about these two squads is they're just like, it's almost like it's not even a SendouQ finals. It's just like, hey, let's both just get out into the mud and punch each other for a little bit. As Punchy is going to go down from Fruittella, giving control to 6 a.m. No penalty points for them, so if they can sustain a little bit, try and hold off these strikes as the Fruittella members continue to fall, it's looking real good for them. Another pick up front. The bucket will go down too, as that's a wipe, and look how quickly they're setting themselves up here. Now with only 30 points to go, you're just going to need one fight win to try and swing this back. Can they find it against Punchy here? No, instead 6 a.m. will go down. THH moving back to provide jumps. This is going to be a crucial sequence here to try and hold the zone, but it does flip back, giving Fruittella another chance.
That was an interesting trade there, because not only did you get the pick, but you also stopped that booyah. But what good does it matter if you have Shy Guy once again getting picks for Fruittella? Fruitella's doing so well with pushing themselves up, but 6 a.m. once again doing really well with the retakes here. So much so that no matter what Fruittella does, it almost seems like 6 a.m. is always going to have the answer. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And right now, it's still a matter of when. 6 a.m. though, still holding things, still finding it a little difficult to come back in. Funny enough, Fruittella holding things down so well here.
Yeah, that crab was really doing work, as now we see A kind of pushing forwards. Oh my gosh, the bucket is going to turn around and get them, which is huge. I thought the bucket was about to be pinched, but instead it's 6 a.m.'s cap once again. Just the pencils, Crownie is going to be kind of scampering backwards here. Now you've got a lot of penalty to work through, so Fruitella's still got plenty of time to kind of matriculate a push here. But the stress is going to start to mount here. Shy Guy, oh my gosh, is going to try and move around these strikes, is going to end up getting picked. And that is a huge, huge stagger right when Fruittella does not want it to happen. The crab is going to get picked as well. And while the buttons go down, Choco Minto gets another trade. It's looking real good for 6 a.m.
Oh my goodness, it is just send it down the steps, send it down the ramps. We'll see what happens afterwards. It's this team, these two teams are the perfect example of it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. They're not asking each other for permission. They're just going to go down there, and then if they get picked off in a 2v1, well, sorry, I'll do it again, but sorry. And we're going to see a little bit more of that. A trying to go for an off-angle attack there. Does actually kind of work out well until you meet the decaf, but again, both of these teams are trading off so many picks, and maybe it doesn't matter how much you get picked off here, as we see a double coming out from Fruittella. 6 a.m. still holding on to the zone here. They've been scary good at these retakes, but Fruittella has been able to do a pretty good job with there in that area as well. Shy Guy and the two Sloshers already going down in the duel of the fates there. Shout out to Star Wars as we see both of them. One of them actually jump out there. 6 a.m. being held back once again. But remember, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when 6 a.m. decides to retake. And right now, it's going to be extra difficult for them to find a spot to retake.
Oh yeah, I mean, look how far up Fruittella is. They're trying to force it to be 2 fights instead of just 1 here, as they're now through their penalty. The crab is coming out. The crab's got to find something here. Instead, just pushes Shy Guy off. The strikes are coming out too, but the Blaster A is going to get a nice trade up front. The zone is going to get flipped back by 6 a.m. with 2 points to go until Fruittella had that lead coming back. 1 will go down. Choco Minto now scrambling, but with only 30 seconds left, Nito, this is looking a lot like how every other game in this set has turned out. Down to the wire and really, really bloody.
That was scary for Fruittella. If the 6 a.m. had that decaf up there for any longer, that would have been a scary pick to have from that decaf. But 6 a.m. finding these picks, there's 3 players down. That's what I was looking for. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And right now is the moment for 6 a.m. Can they hold on to the zone? It's just a pencil, actually. Yes, they do. Are you kidding me? It's just a pencil. Don't even need to color inside the lines because everything else is colored for you. Say win round 3.
Oh my goodness. Now that especially was one of those sets where you see the 3-0 and it just does not tell the whole story of how that set went down. Both of these teams were just throwing powerful pushes at each other. None of those 3 games were easy for 6 a.m. to win. But ultimately, they were the one getting the clutch pushes when it mattered, and they're going to come out of here with a 2-1 record.
Oh my goodness. Quick story time. Back in 5th grade, we had field day, and we were supposed to do this little fun activity outside called a sponge toss, because we just like wet the sponge, just throw it across the other side, see if the other guy caught it. The day before, it rained, and so there was a huge mud pit in the playground. We gave up on sponge tossing, and we just decided to go, because all of us knew what WWE was at the time, so we just did some pro wrestling on the mud pit. This is what this entire match felt like. It doesn't matter what the actual objective is. We're going to send it forward. The splats, the zone we can worry about later. Everyone go forward, hold forward. We'll see what happens. If they flank, don't care. Keep